The alien princess was shocked to discover that the human warrior was a real husband. The war room of the crystalline throne buzzed with tension. Princess Zareth stood before the massive holographic display, her silver skin gleaming under the blue lights. The stars showed red dots everywhere, enemy ships moving closer to her homeworld. Your Highness, we lost 3 more systems yesterday, General Vexstar reported. His voice was heavy with worry. The Void Swarm destroys everything in their path. Our weapons barely slow them down. Zareth's purple eyes studied the battle map for 2 years. She had led her people against this terrible enemy. The Void Swarm came from deep space, eating planets and turning them into dark, empty rocks. No one knew where they came from or what they wanted. We need new ideas, she said. Our old tactics are not working. Perhaps we should consider retreat, suggested Commander Ilana. We could move our people to the outer colonies. No. Zareth's voice was firm. This is our home. We will not run. The door to the war room opened with a soft hiss. A guard entered, followed by a tall figure in dark armor. The stranger walked with confidence, his helmet covering his face. Your Highness, the guard said. This human claims he can help us win the war. Zareth looked at the newcomer with surprise. Humans were rare in this part of the galaxy. Most stayed near their own worlds, far from the major trade routes. The stranger removed his helmet, revealing a face marked by battle. His hair was brown, his eyes were green, and a scar ran down his left cheek. Despite his human appearance, something about him seemed familiar. I'm Marcus, he said. Bowing slightly, I have fought the Void Swarm before. I know how to beat them, General. Vexstar stepped forward. Human, our armies have trained for centuries. What could your young species possibly teach us? Marcus smiled, but it was not a happy smile. Your armies fight with honor and tradition. The Void Swarm has no honor. They adapt and change. You need to do the same. Speak, Zareth said, raising her hand to silence the general. Something in Marcus's voice made her want to hear more. Marcus approached the holographic display. He studied it for a moment, then pointed to several locations. You position your fleets here. Here and here. Classic defensive formation. Very proper, very predictable. That formation has protected our worlds for 1,000 years. Commander Ilana protested. Against enemies who follow rules, Marcus replied. The Void Swarm does not follow rules. They expect you to fight with honor. So do something else. He gestured at the map. And to everyone's surprise, the display responded to his touch. New tactical options appeared, strategies none of them had seen before. How do you know our systems? General Vexstar demanded, his hand moving to his weapon. Marcus paused. For a moment, his confident expression flickered. I learned them somewhere, long ago. Zareth stepped closer. The stranger's knowledge was impossible. These were military secrets known only to the royal family and their closest advisors. Yet Marcus navigated their systems as if he had designed them himself. Show us your plan, she said, for the next hour. Marcus outlined a completely new approach to warfare. Instead of meeting the enemy head-on, he suggested hit-and-run attacks. Instead of protecting every world equally, he recommended sacrificing some positions to strengthen others. This is madness. General Vexstar muttered. We cannot abandon our people. Sometimes you must bend to avoid breaking, Marcus said quietly. The storm that destroys the mighty oak leaves the flexible reed standing. Zareth felt a chill run down her spine. Those words, she had heard them before. Long ago. Someone else had spoken them to her. Where did you learn that saying? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Marcus looked at her directly for the first time. I am not sure. It feels like something from a dream. The princess studied his face more carefully. Beneath the scars and the hardness of war, something looked familiar. The shape of his eyes, the way he held his head when thinking. Tell me about yourself, Marcus, she said. Where are you from, Earth? He answered. I was raised there by soldiers. They found me after a ship crash when I was young. I do not remember much from before. Zareth's heart began to beat faster. How young? Maybe 10 of your years. The doctors said I had injuries to my head. My memories from before the crash are broken. The war room fell silent. Everyone could sense something important happening, but only Zareth understood what it might be. Do you remember any names from before? She asked carefully. Any faces? Marcus closed his eyes. Sometimes I dream of silver skin and purple eyes. A voice calling me, calling me, calling you what? Kyle, he whispered. Someone used to call me Kyle. The holographic display flickered as Zareth stumbled backward. General Vextar caught her arm, his face full of concern. Your Highness, what is wrong? Zareth stared at Marcus with wide eyes. Her hands were shaking. Kyle is. Who is Kyle? Marcus asked, stepping toward her. That name. It feels important. Prince Kyle of Nextra Prime, Zareth said slowly. My betrothed. He disappeared 20 years ago during a diplomatic mission to human space. His ship was attacked by pirates. We never found his body. Marcus stood frozen. His face was pale, and his hands trembled slightly. That cannot be true. I am human. I was raised by humans. I fight like a human. You fight like a human, Zareth. Agreed. But you think like a Nextran prince. You know our systems, our sayings, our ways of war. In your eyes, she stepped closer. Your eyes are exactly like his. The truth hung in the air between them like a physical thing. Everyone in the room could feel it, heavy and impossible and undeniable. I need time to think, Marcus said finally. This changes everything. The war will not wait for us to understand the past, General Vextar said practically. Enemy ships will reach the Zephyr system in 6 hours. Zareth looked between the holographic display and the man who might be her lost prince. Her heart was torn between duty and wonder, between the war that demanded her attention and the miracle standing before her. Then we fight, she decided, together, and afterward. She looked directly at Marcus. Afterward, we find the truth. Marcus nodded slowly. Together, he agreed. As alarms began to sound throughout the ship, neither of them noticed that their hands had moved closer together on the tactical display, almost touching across the space that separated their two worlds. The battle was over. Marcus's strange tactics had worked perfectly. The Void Swarm fleet lay broken among the stars, their ships drifting like dead metal. But victory felt hollow in the war room where Zareth and Marcus now sat alone. Tell me about the crash, Zareth said softly. Her royal robes were replaced with simple clothes, making her look younger. Tell me everything you remember. Marcus stared at his hands. They were human hands, scarred from Earth weapons and Earth wars. But sometimes, in quiet moments, he remembered them being different. I was in a medical center for 3 months. He began. The doctors said my skull was broken in many places. They had to rebuild parts of my brain. When I woke up, I could not remember my name. He closed his eyes, searching for memories that felt like looking through thick fog. The family that took me in were soldiers, the Garrison family. They lived near a military base. They said I spoke strangely at first, using words they did not know. But slowly, I learned to talk like them. Zareth felt tears building in her eyes. What words? Do you remember any? Vilterneth, Marcus whispered. I said it when I was scared. They thought it was nonsense from the brain injury. Zareth's breath caught. That means help me in old Nextran. Children learn it first. Marcus looked up sharply. As soon as she said it, the meaning felt right in his mind, like a key turning, and a lock he had forgotten existed. There was something else, he continued. I had dreams. Always the same dream, a silver palace with crystal towers, a girl with purple eyes who laughed like music. She would run through gardens that glow with their own light, the Harmony Gardens. Zareth breathed. We played there when we were children. You? Kyle used to chase me through the singing. Flowers. Marcus pressed his palms against his temples. The memories were coming faster now, but they hurt, like trying to see bright light through a dark cloth. I remember pain, he said. Not from the crash. From before. Someone was angry. There was shouting. Zareth moved her chair closer. Your father and mine had argued about the wedding. They wanted to delay it because we were too young. You were upset. You said you would prove you were old enough by completing a diplomatic mission. Alone, the mission to Earth, Marcus said slowly. I was supposed to establish trade agreements. Show that I could handle responsibility. Your ship left on a Tuesday morning. I watched from the tower until you disappeared among the stars. Xerath's voice was barely audible. That was the last time I saw Prince Kyle. Marcus stood up and walked to the large window that showed space. The battle debris still floated out there, metal pieces catching starlight like broken jewelry. The pirates attacked 2 days into the journey, he said suddenly. The memory came sharp and clear, like breaking through the surface of deep water. My ship was damaged. The captain tried to reach Earth for help. We crashed in a forest. What happened to your guards, your crew? Marcus turned back to her, his face full of old pain. They died protecting me. All of them. I was the only survivor. And I was too hurt to even remember their names. Xerath stood and walked to him. For the first time, she could see past the human warrior to the boy who had left her 20 years ago. The Garrison family were good people, Marcus continued. They raised me as their own son, taught me to fight, to lead soldiers, to protect others. But I always felt like something was missing, like I was only half of who I was supposed to be. And now, Marcus looked at her directly. Now I remember a girl who was braver than the boys twice her size, who could solve puzzles that stumped the royal tutors, who promised she would wait for me to come home. Xerath reached out slowly and touched his hand. His skin was rough from years of human wars, but underneath she could feel something familiar. I did wait, she said. For 10 years, I refused all other marriages. I told everyone you would return. But finally, duty demanded that I accept my role as a military leader instead of a bride. I am glad, Marcus said, surprising her. The princess I remember was meant for great things. Leading armies suits you better than waiting in a tower. They stood in comfortable silence, watching the stars round them. The ship hummed with activity as crews repaired damage and prepared for the next battle. There's something else, Marcus said finally, something I learned during my time on Earth. Something about the Void Swarm. Xerath looked at him sharply. What do you mean? Humans have fought them before. Not directly, but Earth has records of their attacks on other species. The swarm has a pattern. They do not just destroy randomly. Marcus activated a small holographic projector he carried. Star charts appeared, showing the swarm's path of destruction over the past century. Look at this, he said, pointing to the patterns. They always attack species when they reach a certain level of technology. Always when they develop faster than light communication. Across multiple star systems, Xerath studied the data. Her military training helped her see what Marcus was showing her. They are stopping civilizations from growing too large, she realized. But why? That is what we need to find out, Marcus said. Because I think they are not the real enemy. I think they are weapons. Someone else is controlling them, as if summoned by his words. Alarms began to sound throughout the ship. General Vextar's voice came over the communication system. Your Highness, new enemy ships detected. But these are different, larger, and they are sending a message. Xerath and Marcus looked at each other. Whatever was coming next would test not just their military skills, but their new understanding of who they really were. Together, Xerath asked, together. Marcus agreed. They walked toward the command center, to people who had found each other. Across time and space, ready to face whatever new challenge awaited them. The command center erupted in controlled chaos. Officers ran between stations, calling out readings and coordinates. The main display showed something that made everyone stop and stare. By the stars. General Vextar whispered, those ships are massive. The new Void Swarm vessels were 3 times larger than anything they had seen before. They moved slowly, but with terrible purpose, like giant metal beasts swimming through space. Message coming in, Communications Officer Tarian announced. It is strange. The signal is not from the swarm ships. It comes from somewhere else. Put it through, Xerath ordered. A holographic figure appeared in the center of the room. It looked like a man, but his skin was pale blue and his eyes were completely black. When he spoke, His voice echoed as if coming from a great distance. I am Lord Nextel of the Eternal Empire, the figure said. Princess Zareth, you have something that belongs to me. Zareth stepped forward, her spine straight and proud. I am Princess Zareth of the Crystalline Throne. We have nothing that belongs to you. The alien lord smiled, showing teeth like black pearls. Oh, but you do. You have my greatest success, my perfect weapon. His dark eyes focused on Marcus. Hello, Prince Kyle. Or should I call you Marcus? I see you have recovered some memories. Marcus moved to stand beside Zareth. His hand went to his weapon. But something told him it would be useless against this enemy. You know me, Marcus. Asked to know you? Child, I created you? Lord Nextel laughed, and the sound made everyone in the room shiver. Your ship crash was no accident. Your memory loss was no injury. You are my masterpiece. That is impossible, Zareth said, but her voice was uncertain. Is it? Tell me, Marcus. How do you know? So much about fighting the Void Swarm. How do you understand both human and alien military tactics? How can your mind work with both organic thoughts and digital systems? Marcus felt a cold fear growing in his chest. What did you do to me? I improved you. The Lord said proudly. When your ship was attacked, my agents rescued you. We rebuilt your body with enhancements. We programmed your mind with the best military knowledge from a dozen species. Then we placed you with humans to learn their unique way of thinking. You used me, Marcus said, his voice full of anger. I created you to be the perfect general. Someone who could lead armies against any enemy. Someone who could think like a human but fight like a Nexaran. Someone who could bring together different species under one banner. Zareth stepped protectively in front of Marcus. What do you want? I want my weapon back. Lord Nextel said simply. Marcus will command. My armies. Together, we will conquer every inhabited world in the galaxy. The age of small, weak civilizations is over. Never, Marcus said firmly. You say that now, but you will change your mind. You see, I did not just enhance your body and mind. I placed controls in your brain. When I activate them, you will obey me completely. The holographic lord raised his hand, and Marcus suddenly fell to his knees, screaming in pain. His eyes rolled back, and his body shook like he was being electrocuted. Stop it, Zareth shouted. Kneeling beside him, this is just a small taste. Lord Nextel said calmly, imagine what I can do when my ships arrive at your world. Surrender now, and your people will live as slaves, resist, and they will die. The hologram vanished, leaving the command center in shocked silence. Marcus slowly got to his feet, his face pale and his hands shaking. Marcus, Zareth said softly, are you all right? No. He said honestly, I'm not all right. Everything I thought I knew about myself was a lie. General Vextar cleared his throat. Your Highness, the enemy fleet will reach us in 4 hours. We need to make decisions. Zareth looked around the room at her officers and advisors. These people had followed her through 2 years of war. They deserved the truth. You heard what Lord Nextel said, she announced. Marcus was changed by our enemies. But that does not change who he is now. He chose to help us. He chose to fight against the swarm. That choice makes him who he is, not what was done to him. But, Your Highness, Commander Atlantis said carefully, if they can control his mind, then we will find a way to stop them. Marcus interrupted. I may have enhancements in my brain, but I also have 20 years of human stubbornness. They made me stronger and smarter, but they could not change my heart. He turned to face everyone in the room. I know you have no reason to trust me, but I'm asking you to let me fight beside you, not as a prince or a weapon, but as someone who believes in protecting innocent people. What do you propose? Zareth asked. Marcus walked to the tactical display. His enhanced mind began working through possibilities at incredible speed. Lord Nextel made one mistake. He said, he told us his plan. He wants to use me to unite the galaxy under his rule. That means he needs me alive and functional. How does that help us? Because I can use that need against him. We cannot fight his entire fleet directly, but we can make him come to us on our terms. Marcus began drawing new battle plans on the display. This time, He combined human guerrilla tactics with next-gen formation fighting and something else, strategies. That seemed to come from the enhancements in his brain. We split our forces into 3 groups, he explained. The first group engages his main fleet here, making him think we are trying to fight traditionally. The second group hides behind this asteroid field. When his ships move to attack the first group, the second group hits them from behind. In the third group, General Vextar asked. The third group, led by Zareth and me, goes directly for Lord Nextel's command ship. We capture or destroy him before he can activate the controls in my brain. That is incredibly dangerous, Commander Ilana pointed out. Yes, Marcus agreed. But it is also unexpected, and humans have taught me that unexpected plans often work. Better than perfect ones, Zareth studied the battle plan. It was bold, risky, and required perfect timing. It was also the kind of plan that could save her people or destroy them completely. There is one more thing, Marcus said quietly. If Lord Nextel does manage to take control of my mind, you must be prepared to stop me. By any means necessary? No, Zareth said immediately. Yes, Marcus insisted. Promise me. Zareth H., promise me that you will not let him use me to hurt innocent people. Their eyes met across the tactical display. In that moment, everyone else in the room seemed to disappear. It was just a princess and a prince, finding each other again after 20 years, only to face the possibility of losing each other forever. I promise, she whispered. Good, Marcus said, his voice stronger now. Then let us show Lord Nextel what happens when someone threatens our people. The alarms continued to sound as the fleet prepared for the most important battle of their lives in the command center. Human tactics and alien technology came together in the mind of a man who was both and neither, ready to fight for the freedom of worlds he might never see again. The battle began like thunder in space. Zareth's first fleet group met Lord Nextel's massive ships head-on, their weapons lighting up the darkness between stars from the command ship's bridge. Marcus watched the tactical display with growing concern. Our ships are taking heavy damage, General Vextar reported. Those new Void Swarm vessels have shields we have never seen before. The first group is doing their job, Marcus said calmly, though his hands gripped the rail tightly. They are making Lord Nextel focus on them. Wait for it, on the display. The enemy fleet moved forward like a giant metal wall, pressing their advantage. That was exactly what Marcus had hoped for. Now, he called out. The second group of ships emerged from behind the asteroid field, hitting the enemy fleet from behind. Explosions bloomed like deadly flowers as the surprise attack found its targets. Excellent, Commander Ilana cheered. We caught them completely off guard. But Marcus was not celebrating. His enhanced mind was analyzing the battle data, and something was wrong. This is too easy, he muttered. Lord Nextel is too smart to fall for such a simple trick. As if responding to his words, new signals appeared on the tactical display. More enemy ships were arriving from hyperspace, hundreds of them. It was a trap. Zareth realized. He let us attack to draw out our hidden forces, and now he knows exactly where all our ships are, Marcus finished grimly. Lord Nextel's voice echoed through the communications system. Did you really think you could outwit me, my creation? I know how your mind works because I designed it. The enemy fleet began to surround Zareth's forces. What had seemed like a clever battle plan was turning into a disaster. Your Highness, General Vextar said urgently, we should retreat while we still can. No, Marcus said firmly. That is what he expects us to do. We stick to the plan. What plan? Commander Ilana demanded. Our surprise attack failed. Marcus looked at Zareth, and she saw something in his eyes that made her heart skip. The real plan, he said quietly. The one I could not tell anyone because Lord Nextel might be listening through the enhancements in my brain. He turned to address the whole bridge crew. Everything we just did was to get Lord Nextel's attention focused on the main battle. While he was watching our fleets fight, a small strike team was moving toward his command ship. What strike team? General Vextar asked. The one already aboard his ship, Marcus said with a slight smile. 3 hours ago, I sent Captain Turan and his best soldiers in a captured Void Swarm fighter. They have been waiting for the right moment to strike. Before anyone could respond, explosions began appearing on Lord Nextel's massive command. Ship internal lights flickered as the strike team fought their way through the ship's corridors. Impossible! Lord Nextel's voice came through the communications, now filled with anger instead of calm confidence. How did you hide this from me? You enhanced my brain, Marcus replied. But humans taught me something you never understood. Sometimes, the best way to keep a secret is to not think about it until the last moment. Clever. The alien lord admitted, but not clever enough. Suddenly, Marcus screamed and fell to his knees. The same pain from before hit him, but this time it was much stronger. His body shook, and his eyes rolled back until only white showed. Marcus, Zareth knelt beside him, trying to help, but she did not know what to do. Now you will obey me. Lord Nextel's voice commanded. Stand up, my weapon, order your fleets to surrender. Marcus slowly got to his feet, but his movements were strange and stiff. When he looked at Zareth, his eyes were empty of emotion. All ships, he said in a flat voice, this is Marcus. Surrender immediately, lower your shields, and prepare to be boarded. No, Zareth grabbed his arm. Marcus, fight it. You are stronger than his control. I have no choice, Marcus replied without feeling. I must obey. But even as he spoke, his left hand was moving behind his back. His fingers were making small gestures that Zareth suddenly recognized, old Nextern hand signals. They had learned as children. Play along, his fingers spelled. Trust me, Zareth's heart leaped with hope, but she kept her face sad and defeated. If we must surrender, she said loudly, then I will give the order myself. She moved to the communications panel. All ships, this is Princess Zareth, prepare to surrender as ordered. But instead of surrender codes, she transmitted a different signal, one that Marcus had programmed into their ship's computers during their battle preparations. It was a signal that would activate a special virus in the enemy ship's systems. The virus had been hidden in the captured fighter that Captain Turin used to board Lord Nextel's command ship. When the fighter had been brought aboard, the virus had spread to the command ship's computers. From there, it had quietly infected the entire enemy fleet's communication network. Now, when Zareth activated it, the virus began shutting down enemy weapons and shields across the entire fleet. What is happening? Lord Nextel demanded as his ships began to lose power. Marcus's empty expression suddenly changed to a smile. You enhanced my brain with the best technology from many species, he said, his normal personality returning. But you forgot that humans have something no technology can replicate. The ability to love someone so much that we can endure any pain for them. The pain was still there, still trying to control him, but Marcus fought through it by focusing on his feelings for Zareth. The virus in your computers came from human programmers on Earth. Marcus continued. They designed it specifically to target the technology you use to build the Void Swarm. Captain Turin is not just fighting your guards, he is uploading the virus directly to your main computer. Lord Nextel's command ship shuddered as more explosions rocked its hull. You cannot destroy me. I am eternal. Maybe, Marcus said. But your ships are not. Across space, the enemy fleet was losing power. Their massive vessels began to drift helplessly as their weapons went offline. All ships, Zareth announced, begin the final attack. Target their engines and weapon systems. But even as victory seemed within reach, Marcus suddenly doubled over in pain again. This time, blood began to run from his nose. If I cannot control you, Lord Nextel's voice snarled, then I will destroy you. The control systems in your brain are overloading. In 10 minutes, they will kill you. Zareth looked at Marcus with terror. They had won the battle, but they might lose each other forever. Can you stop it? She asked desperately. Marcus looked at her with love and sadness. I do not know, he admitted. But whatever happens, I want you to know that finding you again was worth everything. As the final battle raged around them, time was running out for the prince who had become human, and the princess who had learned to love him all over again. Medical team to the bridge. Zareth shouted as Marcus collapsed against the command console. His face was pale, and more blood ran from his nose and ears. Dr. Helena, the ship's chief medical officer, arrived within minutes. She quickly scanned Marcus with her instruments, her expression growing more worried with each reading. The foreign technology in his brain is overheating, she reported. It is burning out his neural pathways. I have never seen anything like this. Can you remove it? Zareth demanded. Not without killing him? The enhancements are too deeply integrated with his natural brain tissue. On the main display, their fleet was winning the battle. Lord Nextel's ships drifted powerless in space, their crews surrendering one by one. But the victory felt empty with Marcus dying beside her. There has to be something we can do, Zareth said desperately. Marcus opened his eyes with great effort. Zareth, he whispered, listen to me. The enhancements in my brain, they work both ways. What do you mean? Lord Nextel can send signals to control me, but I can also send signals back through the same connection. If I can overload his control system, it might stop the process. Dr. Helena shook her head. That would require you to open your mind completely to the connection. The feedback could destroy your brain instantly, but it might also save everyone else, Marcus said softly. Lord Nextel still has other weapons, other Void Swarm fleets. If I can damage his main control center, it could stop his entire empire. No, Zareth said firmly. We will find another way. There is no other way, Marcus replied. And there is no time. As if to prove his point, new alarms began to sound. Captain Turan's voice came through the communications system from Lord Nextel's command ship. Your Highness, we have a problem. Lord Nextel has activated some kind of emergency protocol. He is sending signals to Void Swarm fleets across the galaxy. Thousands of ships are moving toward populated worlds. On the tactical display, red dots began appearing throughout known space. Each dot represented a Void Swarm fleet heading toward an inhabited planet. He is going to destroy every world we cannot defend. General Vexar realized with horror. Millions of innocent people will die. Marcus struggled to sit up. I can stop him, but I need to make a direct connection to his control center. How? Zareth asked. Captain Turan and his team need to reach Lord Nextel's command chamber. When they do, I can link my enhanced brain directly to his control system through the ship's computers. And then, Dr. Helena asked, though her expression suggested she already knew the answer. Then I upload everything human about myself into his system. Human creativity, human stubbornness, human love. Things his technology cannot understand or control. Zareth knelt beside him. That will kill you. Maybe, Marcus admitted, or maybe it will change me into something new. Either way, it is the only chance we have. Through the communications system, Captain Turan reported. We have reached the command chamber. Lord Nextel is here, but he is protected by some kind of energy barrier. Can you access the main computer? Marcus asked weakly. Yes, but the interface is unlike anything we have seen. It seems to respond to thought patterns rather than physical controls. Perfect. Marcus said with a small smile. Zareth, I need you to help me get to the computer interface in our communications room. Marcus, you can barely stand. Then you will have to be my strength, he said, looking into her purple eyes. One last time. Together, they made their way to the ship's main communications center. Dr. Helena followed, monitoring Marcus's vital signs with growing alarm. His brain activity is becoming chaotic. She warned, the overheating is getting worse. Marcus sat down at the main communications console and placed his hands on the neural interface controls. Captain Turan, touch the alien computer interface now. Are you sure about this? Captain Turan asked. No, Marcus answered honestly. But I am sure about her. He looked at Zareth. One more time, and I am sure that love is stronger than any technology. He activated the connection. Immediately, Marcus's consciousness was pulled into Lord Nextel's vast computer network. He could feel the alien lord's mind, cold, calculating, and absolutely certain of his own superiority. You cannot stop me, Lord Nextel's mental voice echoed through the connection. I have controlled countless worlds. I am immortal. Maybe you are immortal, Marcus replied, but you have never faced anything like humanity. Marcus began to upload everything human about himself into the alien system. Memories of laughter with the Garrison family, the joy of learning something new, the pain of loss and the strength that came from surviving it, the stubborn refusal to give up even when everything seemed hopeless. But most of all, he uploaded his love for Zareth, the way his heart had recognized her even when his mind could not remember, the willingness to sacrifice everything to protect her, the certainty that some things were worth more than life itself. Lord Nextel's system, designed to control and dominate, could not process these concepts. The network began to overload as human emotions crashed against alien logic. "What are you doing?" Lord Nextel demanded, his mental voice filled with confusion and growing fear. "I am teaching your system to be human," Marcus replied, "and humans never surrender." Across the galaxy, the Void Swarm fleets suddenly stopped their advance. Their control signals were being overwhelmed by something they could not understand. The chaotic beauty of human creativity, the irrational strength of human love, the impossible determination of human will. One by one, the Void Swarm ships began shutting down as their control systems crashed. Lord Nextel's empire, built on cold logic and absolute control, could not survive contact with human emotion. In the command chamber of the alien ship, Captain Turan watched as Lord Nextel screamed and collapsed, his connection to his vast network severed forever. On the bridge of Zareth's ship, Marcus opened his eyes and smiled. "It worked," he whispered. "Are you all right?" Zareth asked, tears of relief streaming down her face. Dr. Helena checked her instruments with amazement. The foreign technology in his brain has completely integrated with his natural neural pathways. It is no longer fighting his system. It has become part of him. "What does that mean?" Zareth asked. Marcus sat up slowly, feeling different but whole. "It means I'm no longer just human or just Nextran. I am both. I am something new. And Lord Nextel, his empire is finished. The Void Swarm fleets are shutting down across the galaxy. But more importantly, his control technology has been infected with something he can never remove. The idea that beings should be free to choose their own destiny." 6 months later, representatives from dozens of worlds gathered on the crystalline throne for a wedding. Princess Zareth H. and Prince Kyle, who was also Marcus the human warrior, exchanged vows in a ceremony that symbolized more than just their love. It represented a new era where different species could come together not through conquest, but through understanding, where human innovation could combine with alien wisdom to create solutions no single species could achieve alone. In his wedding speech, Marcus said, "Love taught me that being different is not a weakness, it is our strength. Together, we are more than we ever could be alone." As the couple kissed under the light of 3 different suns, ships from across the galaxy sent messages of congratulation. The age of isolation was ending. The age of cooperation had begun, and at the center of it all were 2 people who had found each other across impossible odds, proving that the strongest force in the universe was not technology or power, but the simple human capacity to love without limits. In the years that followed, their story would be told on 1,000 worlds, as proof that sometimes the most powerful weapon against tyranny is not a sword or gun, but an open heart and the courage to use it.